Welcome,
everyone.
everyone.
I've got
I've
another
got another
interesting,
interesting,
amazing,
amazing,
and unique
unique
guest on,
guest on,
Tony
Tony
Bond.
Bond.
Please
Please
introduce yourself.
introduce yourself.
Yeah, so Tony Bond, you contacted me, Thomas, through my beer account on Instagram, abombcraftbeer. And yeah, you just obviously invited me onto this for this sort of interview, and well, it'd be kind of interesting to do. I watch a lot of YouTube. Never been on it. Well, I've done one YouTube video before, like sort of a food review that I did, but that's all I've done in terms of content for YouTube. I'm mainly just a watcher.
Okay.
Who
would you watch?
would you watch then?
Watch a lot of tech channels, so like MKBHD, Super Staff if you're talking about UK one, Mr. Who's the Boss. I do watch a bit of Mr. Beast. A lot of like I like these trying to fix videos where people try and fix things that are broken. And lots of random videos. Yeah, car videos. I love car videos. Obviously, like beer videos, obviously.
On the beer side,
you watch any YouTuber that way.
Yeah, it's mainly a real old craft beer. That's one of the biggest sort of UK channels into it, and I watch him. There are a couple of smaller ones. And there's somebody that I find really good to watch, and he mostly does food reviews, but he's got a second channel now. His main channel's sorry, I forgot what his main channel's called now. Bold Foodie Guy. Sorry, and he's his second channel is called Staying in Beer Reviews. He used to do this. I think he still does them actually. I don't often watch them, to be honest, but he does live videos some Fridays where you can sort of join in drinking with him. And he was doing them on his main channel before he even did that sort of spin-off channel. But yeah, he's really good to watch. He's grown so fast as well, and I think it is due to the fact that he is just really down to earth and really good to watch.
So when did you start Instagram then, or your feed?
When did I start it? Did you say?
Yeah.
It was during the first lockdown. I had posted a little bit about beer, not too much prior to that, and then I was sort of just talking to my partner about it, like the idea of sort of making it a strictly beer account. And sort of posting more regularly, and yeah, just went from there. Just started posting exclusively beer rather than personal stuff on there, and I've got a second sort of personal account that I post more personal stuff on. It's just it probably brought about because of COVID and even meeting my partner. I mean, I met my current partner, my fiance, during lockdown. We met online, and we dated during the first lockdown. And so yeah, she's sort of a little bit sort of responsible for me really pursuing it, because she was quite encouraging with that. Yeah.
So Tinder
was it?
No, it was plenty of fish. It was.
Okay.
What's your go-to beer then?
What was that again? Sorry.
What's your go-to
beer?
I don't have a lot of beers more than once, to be honest, because obviously I've got the beer account, and sort of I do have to think a little bit about content, and plus I'd like trying new beers, and there's just always new beers released. I mean, you can't have every new beer that's released. There's so many of them, of course. But yeah, I mean, in terms of go-tos, ones that I'd return to, I'd usually go to the supermarkets if I'm if I want a few beers for a night in, and I don't want the bother of setting up to take a photo of them and like writing a review and all that kind of stuff. I'll like what I'm drinking tonight, Salt Cat, or some of the like vocation beers that are in supermarkets. Life and Death is a good a good consistent one, I think. Love and Hate as well from Vocation. There's so many. There's loads of good beers you can get in supermarkets, and they're good for just a night in drinking. Because you don't want to spend too much if you're drinking a few in a night as well. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Do you think the range is still good in the supermarket or an off-license?
You can definitely get a lot more in an off-license, that's for sure. I think the range is really good in supermarkets nowadays, and you do get new releases every now and then. They tend to be like reasonably spaced out. So if you don't drink a lot, you can probably just keep drinking new beers just by going to the supermarkets, because every sort of it does vary, but every sort of 3 to 6 months there'll be sort of new releases in some of the supermarkets. I find like Sainsbury's have had a few new ones in recently. Tesco probably a few months back had some new ones, and if you don't drink too much and you can just stick to exclusively new beers going to supermarkets, it's good enough for. It's got to that stage where there is plenty to choose from. Yeah.
So what is your drinking like? Is it
2 or 3
beers a week or 2 or 3?
I tend to drink I do drink during the week sometimes, but I'll have just one. Usually one, but like not even every night. I'll have one like every other night maybe, and then on a weekend I might have 2 or 3 in a night. I'm not a heavy drinking. I don't go on a big session. When I do drink, it's usually 2 or 3 at most. I'll only ever drink more than that if I'm actually going out somewhere. And even I'm quite restrained, really.
Yeah. Are there any good or bad points for having a social media page? Have you had any bad comments?
Any bad comments?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. Just the annoying ones from the sort of spam accounts that tell you to share it on certain pages, and but nothing. Yeah, nothing. Nobody's got nasty or anything like that. It's all the beer community on Instagram is just amazing. I've got a few thousand followers now, and the engagement you get is just amazing. Instagram does try and screw you over at times. Like I think I've gone. Like even when I was at 1,000 followers, I got more likes on my posts than I do now. And yeah, it's to do with all the obviously the algorithms there that play a part in. Yeah, that I've been thinking like I need to start doing some reels, I think, in order to sort of reach more people, because I've heard that's the case, that you really need to be doing reels now, and I've still not done a single reel. It's not something I'm too excited about doing. That's the reason why I haven't done it. But yeah, I guess if I wanted to grow my account much more, which long term I guess I do, but it's more for the fun of it. I'm not too concerned about the numbers really. I think at the moment my account's sort of just steady at just over 3,000, and yeah, it's not going anywhere fast at the moment, that's for sure. But it doesn't concern me that really.
Yeah, you're not looking at your most of go one by one.
What was that again? Sorry.
You're not watching your follower count.
Like it doesn't really bother you.
No, I have sort of I've never been obsessed about it, but during times when it was like growing fast, I was excited about the fact that it was growing fast, of course. And when it slowed down, yeah, there's a bit of a sense of frustration when it does really slow down. But I've accepted that now. Like, there's no point getting frustrated about it. The whole thing's about having fun. Like, if I start getting frustrated about that, it's no longer fun.
Yeah. So what was your first beer? Then we're all kind of beer people here. Can you remember your first beer?
I mean, probably the first beer that I ever had was maybe something like a Foster's, but actually probably Stella was probably my first beer, I would imagine, actually. In terms of craft beer, the first one I would have had would have been Punk IPA. And then I didn't really have much craft beer for a while. I probably tried Punk IPA a decade back, and then I didn't really have lots of craft beer for a good number of years until I realised that the supermarkets had a good selection of them, and started trying them in the ones that are in the supermarkets, like some of the vocation ones in particular, and Northern Monk ones as well. And then still just for a while, that's all I was having. I was just having ones that were in supermarkets. Whenever there was new releases and I heard about them, I would go and buy them from supermarkets. It took me a while before I purchased one from anywhere other than a supermarket, to be honest. Like, that would have been literally just a couple of years back when I started my Instagram account, and that's when I started buying some from bottle shops and online places. It did take me a while to start sort of exploring a bit more.
Can you see the comment in the screen from Luke John?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't have
in the comments if it's bad. You try to fix it before we went live.
Yeah, I don't have YouTube. I did have it in the background before, but I swiped it away. It's definitely gone now. I didn't have the video on. It just I was on like the YouTube recommendations page.
Yeah, well, if people can tell us if it's bad or not, or if I do it again.
Yeah.
What's the most expensive beer you bought then?
I think it's hard to say specific. Probably a couple of the Vault City beers. I would say probably the most I've spent. They were maybe like I think a couple of Vault City beers I've bought have maybe been around the £8.50 mark. Okay. But I don't regularly spend that much on a beer. I like to stick to lower price beers, sort of usually in the range of obviously £3 to £6 in that sort of range. And occasionally I'll treat myself, because Vault City, for instance, I named them. They do some sort of really, really amazing flavored sours, and they're just so tempting sometimes. Like, you think, I'm just going to treat myself, and like if I get a beer like that, and I'll drink it on a night, that'll be the only beer I have that night. So it's not an expensive night still.
No. If it's only a special beer for a night.
Yeah,
same as getting a slab of beer to go like that, you know.
Yeah.
What's one beer that you would completely eliminate?
I mean, I think some of the collaborations that Brewdog have done, the one that really comes to mind is the Candy Kittens one, which really I'd like a really sort of
adjunct beer.
Yeah, I do like. I think adjuncts work really well with stouts, but they don't work so well with, like, obviously pale ales and IPAs and so on. I love adjuncts in the stouts, like whether it's like coconut or marshmallow or coffee. The stouts just adjuncts just lend themselves to stouts. I think, and to the point where I think the best stouts are the ones with adjuncts in. To be honest, obviously that's a personal preference kind of thing, but adjunct heavy pale ales and IPAs. Yeah, I'm not too keen on them.
Okay. Would you have a
favorite beer style then?
Sorry?
Favorite beer style?
See, I like almost every beer style, but probably stouts, to be honest. Yeah, I do find stouts. They're so varied. Like, you can have loads of New England IPAs, and they taste different depending on, like, obviously the hops that are used, but they've all got a lot in common. With stouts, you can just do so much with them, and stouts you can get them, like imperial stouts, well over 10%, and they just don't taste that. Like, you can get a 12% stout, saying it doesn't taste 12% whatsoever.
No.
It tastes so smooth and so flavorful, and you just can't taste the alcohol at all. And I think stouts would definitely be my favorite. I think. Yeah.
And would you go for the more imperial, heavy end, or would you be going for a kind of an Irish, more lighter one?
Yeah, I prefer imperial adjunct heavy stouts. Yeah, like pastry stouts, as they're called, is what I really like.
Have you tried homebrewing then?
Have I tried what? Sorry.
Homebrewing. Making your own beer.
I haven't. No, never tried it.
Any inkling to give it a go?
Not at the moment. It's definitely something I'd consider. I understand it's quite difficult to brew a good beer. I think I'd probably make a massive batch of something that's just completely undrinkable, and I suppose nothing that's put me off it as well is, I remember my dad used to sort of buy the sort of homebrew kits, and he used to make beer from them, and the beer was horrible. He used to like them, but I think maybe it's just the way those kits always come out. But I just remember it tasting a bit horrible and thinking, maybe stay away from doing homebrew. But I know there's obviously a lot more to homebrew than those kits, and it's something I'd consider having a go at. It'd be interesting to sort of get a brewery to agree to do a collaboration where I could go in there and do something with somebody that's actually knowledgeable about making beer. That'd be sort of what I'd probably be more interested in doing.
Kind of like a homebrew course or something like that.
Sorry?
Something like a homebrew course or something to give you more insight how the beer is.
Yeah. I mean, there's a brewery local to me called Chain House Brew Co, and he's been brewing from his garage. He's got a full-time job. He brews from his garage, but he did a fundraiser, like a crowdfunding sort of campaign, where you could put in so much and you'd get rewards, and the money's for him to move into Preston to have a bigger. So I have an actual brewery that's not in his garage, and he's got a bigger space and so on. He's working on that at the moment. I donated a small amount just for a couple of beers when the place opens, and a T-shirt. That was a reward I got for that. But he did have bigger ones, and one of them was, I think it was £500 or thereabouts, to do a brew day at the brewery when it opens. So I've seen I think I've seen other breweries do crowdfunding where they've done the same thing, and they often have that brewer beer reward for a few £100. So there's ways of doing it if you catch one of those crowdfunding campaigns and there's one of those rewards that allows you to do that.
Yeah, it would be really interesting to see how it's on a commercial basis.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite kind of crop or things like that? Would you put that in beer?
I think so. I don't think you can go too far wrong with Citra, can you? Citra in any beer is amazing.
Well, some people don't. That's very divisive. I think. Some people.
I've always liked it in a beer. Yeah. Sabro is one that's really divisive, isn't it? Because you can get like obviously the sort of mint and coconut from that, and some people obviously aren't keen on mint, and same with coconut as well. Some people obviously don't like coconut. So I've heard that one's quite divisive, and I think you have to use that quite sparingly. I think it only really works if you use it quite sparingly. From what I understand, anyway.
Yeah. Do you think now with the energy prices, a lot of breweries will feel the pinch? So especially with supermarkets, if they're dependent on that, that's a very tight margin. I think some breweries will be facing a difficult situation with it.
Yeah, it's got to be, hasn't it? I'm not aware of any that have really shut down just because of that, but yeah, I'm sure it has to. Yeah, I mean, like if some might be surviving at the moment because they're in fixed deals, say, but when a fixed deal comes to an end, obviously they're going to be paying more, possibly double, or more than double. I know they've got they're going to have a price cap now for businesses as well, which is a good thing. So hopefully that's enough of a cap to make it viable still. But yeah, I'm sure some will struggle, particularly if they're not like doing big volume. I'm pretty sure volume probably helps because some of the costs are probably spread out more across the beers that you're making. But if you're making,
I think so.
Yeah.
And if you've got good local market, you can always worry.
Yeah.
Coffee.
I don't drink either, to be honest, nowadays. I did used to drink coffee. I suffer with anxiety, though, and I find coffee makes that bad. So I'd stopped drinking coffee a number of years ago. And I've been drinking tea up until recently, but I've trying to go caffeine-free at the moment. But if you're talking about flavour, like probably coffee, to be fair. And I do really like going back to what I was talking about before. I do really like stouts with coffee in. I think it adds a lot. Adds a lot to a stout.
What food then would you pair with beer, or would you actually have with beer?
Some good beer snacks are just like peanuts, or you get those love corn snacks. Those are good, I think, with beer. In terms of some like a meal, then obviously a curry is the obvious one to go for, isn't it? I guess.
Okay. Away from beer then. What kind of food is your favorite?
What food is my favorite to pair with beer?
Yeah, away from beer. Normal food. What would you go for?
I love a good pizza, to be honest. Yeah. So I'd probably just say pizza. I know that's just such a common answer into it, like favorite food, pizza. But yeah, I'd probably say pizza.
What's your favorite kind of food cook then? If you can cook.
Yeah, I can cook okay, not amazing, but I like making risottos, to be honest. Yeah, I'd probably say risotto, or a spag bowl.
Yeah, nice comfort food.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What kind of breakfast do you have? Or do you eat breakfast?
Yeah, at breakfast. I swap between so I eat either granola or muesli, and I'll eat one, and I'll keep buying it until I get a bit bored of it, and then I'll move back to the other one, and then I'll switch back and forth as and when I get bored. But yeah, tropical fruit granola or just Swiss style muesli.
Yeah. Interesting choices. I think.
Thank you.
What would you think of the last meal?
My last meal.
Yeah, a bit morbid.
Yeah, it'd be some sort of meat feast pizza followed by sticky toffee pudding with custard. I think I'm a big one for custard. Yeah, I really love custard.
Yeah, they're nice. What kind of music into them?
I don't listen. To be honest, I don't listen to loads of music. I like grime a little bit, and otherwise I listen to a lot of stuff in the charts or some smaller bands that you may not have heard of. I don't know. Like one of my favorite bands is AJR. They're from New York, and they're kind of like when I first got into them, they were really small over here. I went to a place called Sound Control in Manchester to see them. It's a really small venue. It's closed now, but it was a really small venue in Manchester. Definitely less. I think probably maybe around 700 or 800 people. Like it's pretty small for a music gig, really. And saw them there. They're a bit bigger now here. And I do like a bit of like electric music as well. I guess you'd call it like Nero.
Yeah. Different choice. Not your bit different thing here and your everywhere else is popular at the moment. Films then. What moving on to music? What kind are you doing? Star Wars or Star Trek?
Yeah, I like Star Wars. Yeah, not really into Star Trek. Well, to be fair, I'm not giving it much of a chance. So I say I'm not into it, but I really just haven't watched any. I've seen like clips of it, and from that, I've figured that I probably wouldn't like enjoy it so much. But I've not given it a fair chance. My favorite.
I can't comment.
You haven't seen either?
No, Star Trek or War.
Fair enough.
So away from them, would you be a film person or TV, Netflix?
Yeah, I like film and TV. Yeah, mainly stick to streaming services nowadays. Yeah, I don't watch a lot of TV, like broadcast TV. It is mainly Netflix and Amazon Prime. Obviously, I watch plenty of stuff on YouTube as well. Obviously, that's not usually feature length stuff, of course. But I do watch a lot of YouTube. Like if I'm watching TV with my partner, then it usually will be something on Netflix. Usually, she's not too much into sort of content that's on YouTube. But when I'm on my own, I tend to watch mostly YouTube, to be honest.
Well, YouTube is 65 or 70% male watching people.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me really. Yeah.
It's something.
It's
way up
like that.
And Nielsen, what's your favorite series? What you watch at home?
My favorite what? Sorry.
Favorite series. What you watching on Amazon Prime or?
Well, I mean, favorite series of all time is Breaking Bad for sure. Yeah, my partner and I have just finished watching Better Call Saul recently as well. We're watching it quite slowly, so I know we do. Obviously, the episodes were released a little bit ago now, but we've just finished watching it as of a couple of weeks back. I think it was. We finished watching that. No, that was really good as well. Not as good as Breaking Bad, but still really good.
What's the meaning of life?
The meaning of life?
Yeah.
Ask everyone this though.
I think you just need to enjoy yourself, and just obviously try not to stress about too much. What will be, and sort of don't think too much about things that have gone and you can't do anything about them. Think about what things that you can do something about, but also like probably don't overthink those things. Either like just wait for them to come to you. I think just in terms of what the end for us is, like if that's the meaning, I don't know, but I think just if I would say to anybody what to do with your life, just try and enjoy it.
Okay.
And be active as well.
When's the last time you cried?
Sorry?
When's the last time you cried?
If I'm being honest, it was just a couple of days ago, just after a bit of an argument with my partner. I don't like having arguments with my partner. So yeah, I did then.
Okay.
I'd like just the. It was mainly like I don't like anybody being hurt. So like if I've felt like I've caused her upset, then it makes me upset, and I just cry because of that. Really, but it's just like it wasn't anything too big. just a regular sort of couple argument.
Yeah.
Last thing you Googled.
Sorry?
Last thing you Googled.
I can't honestly remember the last thing I Googled. I really can't.
Okay.
Would you use Google a lot, or are you use technology
a lot like that?
Yeah, I use Google plenty of times. Yeah, I'll use it. I'll use it. In fact, I just haven't looked. I think the last thing I searched on Google was the meaning of the Wordle word today, because I was playing Wordle today and I didn't know the meaning of it. So that's the last thing I searched actually. If you want to go back to that one, but I use Google plenty. Yeah, I use it. Yeah, just typing in. Sometimes I'll ask it a question when I'm driving using Android Auto even. Or one of the. I've got a few of the Google Home Minis around the house. I'll if something pops into my head, I can ask that. But I don't use them too often. To be fair, I don't even. Sometimes I don't even think when my phone's next to me anyway. I'll just pick that up and search on there.
Would you be scared about technology listening to you? Like Google Meet?
I'm not too concerned about it. Every now and then, the Google Home Minis, they'll start talking as if I've tried to ask them something, but I've not asked them anything. I've not said anything that should have been a key word, but for some reason they start telling me something that I've apparently asked them, which is a bit confusing to me. But I'm not too concerned about it. I mean, obviously, I appreciate that some people do have privacy concerns around that, and it's completely understandable. Because that data is going. That data, in regards to what you've said, is going to a server somewhere, and that's sending some information back for your speaker to tell you some information in response to what you've said. And yeah, some people could have a fear of what's being done with that, but I don't personally have too much of fear of it. I mean, my wife's maybe not interested enough for them to do anything useful with that information.
You have any future plans for your Instagram page, right?
Nothing big. I would like to do another giveaway. I've done a couple throughout having my account. I did one when I reached 1,000 followers, and then I did one when I think it was actually when I reached 1,500. I think that might be the last one I did. I've only done a couple. One was completely self-financed, like I just bought some beers and I gave them away. One was done in collaboration with a small brewery where they provided the prize. And I have been thinking about it since I've been over 3,000. I've been over 3,000 for a bit now, and I've not got around to it, but I would like to do that at some point. I think it's good to sort of give back to people. I mean, there's quite a big thing of people running giveaways or breweries running giveaways, and I've run my fair share, to be fair. So it is nice to be able to give back, and I've done that a couple of times, as I say. But I think I'm due doing it again. I think, yeah.
What was like working with the brewery for the giveaway? Were they easy to work with?
Yeah, they were a brewery. I'm trying to think what the brewery were called now. So I can't think off the top of my head what the brewery were even called. But yeah, they were a brewery that were doing a number of giveaways at the time with different beer accounts. So I caught on to the fact that they were doing them, and just approached them and just said, like, I think it was when I was at 2,000 actually. I think I messaged them and just before I reached 2,000 and just sort of asked about the idea of doing a giveaway once I reached 2,000. And they agreed to it. Yeah, just said, well, yeah, sort of once you get there, just give us a shout and we'll do something. And yeah, they were dead easy to work with. Yeah, they didn't dictate to me how to do it or anything, how to run it. I set the conditions on how to enter, and simply pass the name of the person that got drawn onto them, the name and address of the person onto them once.
Yeah, that's a really good for a brewery to do that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I don't even think I passed on the name and address. Actually, I think I passed on the person's account, and I think they spoke with them at that point. I can't remember for sure, to be honest, but yeah, they were dead easy to work with. Yeah, like I said, the fact that they didn't dictate anything was really good.
Yeah, that's really good to avoid that. Mostly got a bit of exposure from it.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
So there's no chance you move over to YouTube from Instagram then?
Funnily enough, me and my fiance we have been playing with the idea of maybe doing a channel together on YouTube. We haven't done anything with it yet, but we've got this idea of doing like a cheap versus steep kind of food comparison. I don't know if that's what we'd call it, but sort of, because I've always maintained that some things that I shop at Aldi, and I maintain that some of that stuff, like, you can't tell the difference to like branded stuff, for instance. But she'll maintain that she can tell the difference, and that she'll be able to tell the difference if doing a blind tasting. So yeah, we've talked about maybe doing a channel where we do. I don't know how we'd sort it, but where we'd have the cheap item and the steep item, and I do a blind tasting of them, not knowing which one's which, and then she'd do a blind tasting knowing which one's which. We'd have to sort of do some swap around halfway through, I guess, and the other person mix them up, and while knowing which one's which, kind of thing. Yeah, yeah, we have toyed around with the idea. I've done nothing with it yet. I did do one video because I toyed around with the idea of doing food reviews before, and I did do one. I just did one video, and I had good intentions to do more, but yeah, I think my main problem is, yeah, like I said before, I suffer with anxiety, and I struggle with the idea of putting myself out there too much. Like Instagram's easy, like in the way I do it anyway, which doesn't involve showing myself really. It's mainly just beer on there. But when you're doing a YouTube channel, you need to sort of have your face out there, and it's sort of a bit nerve-wracking, I think. So that's where I sort of hit a bit of a blocker. I do like the idea of having a YouTube channel, though.
Yeah, well, you can on here tonight and you talk very freely, and you're live on YouTube. And there's been no problem, I think.
Cheers.
How do you find StreamYard working?
Sorry?
How do you find StreamYard? We're StreamYard broadcast on YouTube. How do you find StreamYard to first time using it? Like?
Yeah, it's the first time I've used it. It was super easy. Obviously, you sent me the link, and then I just entered a display name and joined, and that was it. You've taken control of the rest. So yeah, it was dead easy from my point of view.
Yeah, it's easy. It's. I think you can let people join your live. You only use YouTube, but it's much harder. I think.
Yeah.
I've never used StreamYard for people on.
All right, yeah, I mean, it works really well.
Your idea for the channel, I think it's really good. I think you should try something or work something out.
Yeah. I think we're going to do it. I think we just sort of we only discussed that maybe less than a week ago. It's quite a fresh thing we've talked about. And I think we are going to do it, yeah.
Okay, I think I've held you up long enough tonight. I'll post your link in the chat again, so people go over, give Tony a follow on Instagram. We really appreciate it. And I think we'll say goodbye to everyone. If you've not enough to say.
No, nothing else really, Thomas. Thank you very much for having me.
Right, perfect. Thanks, Emily.
All right, cheers. All right, see ya.
Yeah.
Oh.